Greetings guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Monette. This is my channel Evolve with Monette. For those of you that are new here, I am a professional intuitive empath. Today I am at the Blue Lagoon, one of the 25 wonders of the world. I am on step 2 of our 3-step mask process. I'm going to flip you around so you can see me apply. This is a Silica mud mask. It is to be applied for, and we're going to just slather it on. Slather it on. You just saw me do the volcanic mud mask. This one smells, as my companion said very correctly, eucalyptusy. It looks like this in your hand. They kind of just glop it into your hand, and then you put it on. It's got some exfoliating properties in it. And again, all of these things can be purchased in the gift store or ordered. If you would like to bring the Blue Lagoon to your house, not that I'm sponsored, y'all, but you can. You certainly can. You can order it, and they will ship it from Iceland to you. So you can have that. Now, this mask stays on for 10 minutes. We are checking the times. And so I have some things that I will talk to you about as we apply this mask and let it dry and do its magic. My companion said something just in passing, and it made me think about our journeys here, all of our choices. And, you know, someone, as we were coming through the bridge back to get our mask, clocked our green armbands, which gave us a premium experience. And they have the regular armbands, which gives them a mask. This mask specifically is what is included when you get general, admission to the Blue Lagoon. And so we opted for premium because that's what we do. So that's how I like to live. You know, you all know my Taurus moon. You know, she likes nice things, and so we definitely have had the best experiences at both of the lagoons that we have been to. And so she was, you know, the lady was funny. She was like, "Oh, you guys are fancy. You guys have the green band, so I guess you get special masks and more masks." And we do, and that's life. But here's the thing about it. My companion said, you know, that can't be mad. We chose better. And it made me think about the fact that a lot of the people in your life from your past, this is so interesting. If you guys have ever worked with just a preschool teacher and he's coming out, you mix in cornstarch and water, and you know how it becomes this kind of, there's a scientific word for what happens to it, but it's both liquid and solid at the same time, and that's kind of what this feels like. A slurry. A cornstarch slurry, yeah, but like, you know, when you do it with the preschoolers, it's like a thing. Anyway, so there's a word for it. Someone scream me in the comments. Probably my Belinda, who's always fact-checking me in the best way. Shout out to Texas. All right, so here's the deal, guys. We chose better. They chose first, but we chose better. And that's the message while I'm letting this mask sit in and do its thing. They chose first, but we chose better. A lot of us, especially in the twin flame dynamic or the soulmate dynamic, if it went toxic, if it went belly up, if your person became a demon and not a partner, if someone triangulated you, even if it wasn't romantic, but especially if it was, they chose first. Usually people that are highly codependent can't be without a relationship. And so what that means is that they will fling themselves headlong into things that are not well suited for them, that don't actually fit, but at least they're not alone. They don't have to think about the loss of you. If that's the case, they don't have to think about what they're missing out on. They can occupy themselves and lose themselves in another human. Now, what we do is we heal. We heal organically. We heal by ourselves. We wait until partnership finds us in other ways when it's time. And so they chose first, but we chose better. And that can happen in a lot of things. You know, when you flip a coin at any game, if any of you guys are sporting folks out there, and they say, you know, heads or tails, who wants to go first? And those decisions can definitely change the course of the game. Because depending on what game you're playing, that first initial kind of striking out into the competition means something. And so when you're dealing with someone who is maybe narcissistic, toxic, or codependent, they're not able to be on their own. And we are definitely codependent too, so that's definitely something we're recovering from, our people-pleasing, our empath ways, all of that stuff. But here's the deal with it. When we get out of the connections and we realize, like, okay, this was toxic or this was unhealthy for whatever reason, what we do is we find ourselves in a situation where we could choose. We can immediately be shocked up, locked up, and it may feel comfortable to do that. You may want to gravitate to a connection immediately so that you don't feel the angst and the pang of loneliness that can happen. But if you choose better, we always choose better, what will happen is you find yourself in connections that are well suited for you. Now, I'm going to tell you right now what I was channeling when I heard that conversation. They chose first, but we chose better, is this. Whomever was in your past is now stuck with a person specifically. So this will apply to some of you, Rain, specifically. If you're watching from wherever you're watching from, my love, this is for you. They may have chose first, but you chose better. And sometimes it feels lonely. And you guys can attest to that. You're like, well, they're coupled up, they look happy, they look booed up, they're singing T-Pain, but they're not within a properly aligned connection. And we can, it's very, normal to want to almost like peer into that and say, oh my goodness, they're so happy, they didn't need me, they're doing fine. They're not. And it's not to say that you need to go back and fix anything, but it is to say that when connection comes for you, it will be better. They chose first, but you chose better. And you chose out of not desperation, you chose not out of your angst and your pain, you actually worked through that. You actually did what you needed to in order to evolve through that, so that when connection finds you, when partnership finds you, it's something that has longevity. It can last because you're finding someone with whom has done their work and all of those things that we talk about here on the channel. But the thing about it is, it's starting to dry. I feel like cracking my face. It's starting to dry. But the thing about it is that they had options. They did choose their options, but they chose them in haste. So they didn't choose anything that was actually right for their soul. They didn't know what was right for their soul. You were actually right for their soul, but they forewent being in the connection because it was too much work. And here's the thing. My work ethic is fantastic. I don't mind working. I don't mind working for things that I want. I don't mind earning. Like today, this was not given to me. None of this is free. Me and my companion both paid for this experience. We made this thing happen. But that's because we work our asses off in whatever capacity that we do. And the thing about it is those past connections that you were in were not willing to work for you. And it's so easy to say, oh my gosh, but they're so happy with their new boo. But if they weren't willing to work for them, do you think that worked for you? Do you think that they're working for them? They're not. There's an illusion of that, and it's so easy to get lost in that and think, oh my goodness, they must be so happy, and you're singing all these songs to yourself. You imagine me and you. I think about it all the time. It's only right. But here's the thing about it. They're not actually with partners of whom fit them. They are with what was a temporary fix to the itch of loneliness. And that itch of loneliness happens when we don't take time to figure out who we are, when we don't take time to anchor ourselves and to grow. See, when partnership and companionship comes to those of you that have been looking for it, it will feel right and you will know. And you won't just know, you will understand. You will understand in the depths of your soul.
I was going to say
they chose first,
you
but you chose better. You chose better because you chose yourself. That was the best choice. The irony is, if someone of them were to hear this, they'd think, oh, that means they just got into another partnership and maybe it was secret. No, they got into nothing. How many of us got into absolutely nothing? How many of us got into ourselves? How many of us got into our spirituality? How many of us got into our learning and our understanding in the depths of our depravity, whatever that may be? How many of us got honest with ourselves? They chose first, but we chose better. And that better leads us to things that actually catapult us into the next level of our spiritual ascension. And so we're not in this place where we're actually in desperation. We're in a place of manifestation and of growth and of gestation. We were in gestation. We were actually in the womb of our own souls, growing ourselves. They chose first, and maybe that looked really delicious and amazing, and it was very much magnetic and attractive to them. But for those of you that decided to walk away and leave them to their own devices, you did better. You grew up, you became women and men. You dug into your divine feminine nature, your divine masculine nature, and you balanced yourself. And you did it again and again. You did it when it was hard. You did it when it was lonely. You did it through your tears. And I want to congratulate you. You chose the better option. You have the premium green pass all the way through. You earned it. Nobody gave it to you. And so before I go and wash this mask off, because girl is cracking and drying, I want you to know they chose first, but you chose the path that would help you grow. Not only did you choose better, you chose things that would help you understand and know who you were intrinsically. So when partnership does find you, and it will, It will. Listen to me. Who's listening? It will. It will find you. You will now be with someone who is equally yoked, who has done work similar to you, and it will not be something that you alone have to do. As so many of my clients that I walk through and I get to see that with, you will not be in the trenches by yourself. They are now in the trenches by themselves. They may be partnered, but they do not have help. The narcissist will always try to find somebody to replace you, and the new supply never compares. And my God, do they pay dear for it. You know, even with my companion, I was just observing a situation in her life where the the supply that was chosen was sad. She broken. We call it the way line. It's a long story, but she's sad. Is she sad, sis? She's sad. My friend is free. She's swimming out in the blue lagoon. She's happy and melanated and magic. She's a mermaid. She's outside. She is not inside crying and depleted and looking drained. They chose first, but we chose better. And that thing they chose is now driving them insane. That's the message for you today. Anyway, I got to go wash my face. On to the next step. So good sharing energy with you. Come back and join me next time and we'll continue to evolve together.